Yo, what is up, my Gladiator? Sam here, and I am back once again with another Minecraft video. But today I was thinking about possibly doing a kind of storytelling. I have a lot of interesting things that I've done in my life, some pretty interesting past experiences, and one of them I wanted to talk to you guys about, which would make kind of for an interesting story, was the day I was legitimately robbed by a guy who straight up he had a knife and he robbed me. And I thought that was a pretty crazy story, how I got out of the situation. So I thought I would tell you guys this story today. So I'll start off my story by saying I used to live in Las Vegas back when I was in high school. And this was around when Blockbuster and stuff was still kind of a thing, like the year right before Blockbuster just like went to crap and Netflix took over. And I was walking down the street with my good pal Nico. And typically what we would do is I would have like sleepovers with all my friends. We'd all play video games, particularly Halo and stuff. And then we'd get a movie for the night, and I'd bring it back to my place. We'd have everyone over, and then we'd watch that movie, and then wake up in the morning and have like pizza and stuff. So it was a pretty fun time for me, just always playing video games with my friends and whatnot. But on one particular occasion, we're walking down the street. And if you don't know, Vegas can kind of be a scary place. There are a lot of gangs around, and, you know, just straight up, if you mess with the wrong people, you could just get murdered. That happens. Like, I've known people, and then they mess with the wrong people, and now you don't know them anymore. They're no longer around. So it's kind of like pretty crazy time now when I think about it. But we're walking down the street, going down to Blockbuster to pick up a movie. I was thinking about getting the movie Gladiator. I really like that movie. And I see this kind of group of skaters, kind of like skinhead skater type people. And actually, because I was like fairly popular, not like, oh, I'm a super popular guy, but I just knew a lot of people. I was a really friendly guy, and I was friends with most people. So I see this group of people, and they all ride by on their skateboards, and I actually knew one of them. And I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? I was like, what's up? I gave him a high five. And then that like main group of people left. Then came around the corner was like the leader of the group. And this guy was like really tall. He was probably a little bit older. And he didn't see that I had like a friendship or whatever. Like he didn't see that I had some kind of correlation with the other members of his group and how they just flew by and that I actually knew them. So he just kind of like came up to us and he's like, yo, can I borrow some money? And that's like slang for give me your money. You know, he's not blatantly saying like, yo, give me your money, I'm going to rob you. He's just like, hey, let me borrow some money. And obviously I have no idea who you are. So, you know, he's technically robbing me at this point. And I'm like, no, dude, it's cool. And I try to just like play it off like, nah, dude. And he's like, hey, you know, give me some money. Like, he just makes it blatantly obvious at this point. He's straight up robbing me, right? And I'm like, oh, shoot. It's pretty scary. And this guy, you keep in mind, he's tall. He's like twice as tall as me. And I'm like, I don't know about that, dude. I don't really have much money. And he just like kind of like lifts up his shirt and shows that he's packing a weapon, a knife. And I'm just like, holy crap. Okay, dude. I whip out my wallet because I'm scrawny. If anyone knows me, I am so skinny, and he would probably beat the crap out of me. So I give him my money. There's not much you can do in that situation, knowing Vegas, like, they will murder you. Okay. So then he takes off, and I see a cop, right? And he comes by, and I'm a little ticked off because I just got robbed and we were going to have a movie for the night. So that's pretty lame. So I just like kind of waved the cop down. I'm like, hey, that guy over there, he just straight up robbed me. Can you like do something about it? And then the cop gets out of his car and starts walking over to the gang or whatever, and they just book it. They know at that point that I ratted on them to the cops, and they just take off. The cops call in like some other people, and then they like do a full-on pursuit. I wasn't obviously there to see the pursuit, but they chase them down. They go into the housing complexes. And from what I heard, I guess one of the cops like cornered them, and then like the kid pulled out his skateboard and like tried to hit one of the cops with it or something like that. I wasn't there, but apparently that's what went down. They caught the guy who robbed me, and they brought him back. And this was at like a strip mall, if you guys ever know what that is, by like, there's like a Smith's. And then this was on like a strip mall. So it's like a long complex of stores. And then it's Las Vegas, so it's very, very hot out. And they bring this kid and they put him, handcuff him. They put him on the roof of their police vehicle. So, you know, like his head is on the vehicle and it's super hot and his face is on metal. So he's like burning in the hot sun, melting his face on this car. And I can see him like looking at me because I'm just like standing there, and he is like legitimately pissed. Like, I just totally screwed this guy over. I mean, he did rob me, so he kind of freaking deserves it, but he is mad at me very much. It is blatantly obvious he wants to kill me. So then I have to testify in court, and the guy ends up going to juvie. And then a couple years later, this is where the story gets like freaking crazy. A couple years later, in school, I'm in a math class. And when I get out, I start walking to my next class, and I end up seeing him. This is a couple years later. I see him in the hallways going to his classes. And I've realized at this point he's gotten out of juvie. And it has just so happened that he ended up in my school, going to classes and stuff. So I spend, the rest of that year just trying to avoid him at all costs. I kind of stalk, I guess isn't the right word, but I followed him just to kind of know where his classes are and to know where mine are and at what times. And then so I could avoid him, and not run into him during the hallways, because then if he knows I'm in that school, he will murder me. Get this, like, you have to understand, they will murder you. It is crazy. So another year passes, and because there are so many students and there are so many kids, they had to split it up between schools. And another school came out, and then I went to that school. Then what happened is he also went to that school. And I'm like, oh snap. Then what happened? We ended up in the same class because we were the same grade. Holy crap. He's literally at this point in my class. And I'm just like crapping myself. It is so terrifying. He didn't know for a while that it was actually me though. Because I would sit behind him perfectly out of his vision, and he never like actually glanced and noticed me. So for a very long while, I was able to like hide in the class so he wouldn't be able to see me. But then one unfortunate day, he happens to turn around to pass a piece of paper. And then he sees me, and I'm like, oh shoot, this isn't good at all. This is pretty terrible at this point. He eyeballs me, he sees me, and then later I hear he's planning to jump me after class. So it's just, my situation has gotten so terrible at this point. It's horrifying. And, but then, what kind of went down is, again, he has like this group, his group of cronies or his gang or whatever. And what happened was, before he kind of came to that class, before he transferred over, I actually became friends with him because, again, I'm just like a super friendly guy. Like, I'm just friends with everyone ever. It doesn't matter like who you are. Like, I'm just gonna be nice to you. And I made so many friends because of that. And I happen to be friends with his gang members or whatever. Or I wouldn't really say gang. There's like his crew of friends, but they do maybe illegal stuff. I don't know. Definitely jumping me is kind of messed up, so I guess he could be a gang. Anyways, so if you guys don't know, I'm an artist. So I do lots of drawings, especially in class. Like I just spend most of my time just drawing on my homework and whatnot. And because of this, people would notice my drawings, and they're actually pretty good. I'm a professional artist now, so obviously I was decent back then. And I would draw pictures for people. One of those people was the members of his crew, and I would draw them pictures and stuff. They'd be like, "Oh, that's great. Draw this." I'm like, "Oh, cool, dude." And I just draw it out. And they're like, "Oh, that's awesome." So when the time came when he decided to jump me, he told his crew of friends, which I was actually pals with, that they wanted to jump me. And what ended up happening was they're like, "Why would you jump him? He's like the coolest guy ever. He draws us all these pictures." And I ended up not getting jumped and beaten up because I drew them pictures. That's pretty much the moral of the story is be a super nice guy and people won't kill you. And yeah, so that was the end of my little story. I thought it was pretty interesting how it just like insane it got, and I just kind of made it out of it alive by being super friendly to everyone. So yeah, that's the end of my story, and I'll see you guys again. Maybe if you guys want to see more of this stuff, you could leave a like or a comment on if you'd like to see me do more stories. All right, I'll see you guys later. Toodaloo.